Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 here in the Risoux Forest. I could, or the other option is I turn the stones off, then I go through and do the ploughing, and then you turn stones on just long enough to go through and like I'll do the outside couple of rounds and just remove those few stones. And then we're sort of done with it. And that way we don't have to keep worrying about stones. Right, but now I've done this, I kind of want to just bring that back around a little bit. There, I think, like that. Right. That's going to end up being alright. And then we've got a nice straight edge up through there. So we'll go back into the plants and we'll just take a little bit of grass. And yeah, I've got the square edge on this one at the moment. But that's going to be alright, I think. I'll bring that up through there. I'm just going to do a line of... For now, we'll do a line of grass, and we won't worry about doing anything else with it. And we can sort of change that a little bit later. There we go. A little bit up there. Just bring that in. Okay, right. That's looking alright, I think. That's looking alright. And then just bring you a little bit more down here, there. Okay, yeah, we'll forget about stones, because stones take ages, and they don't really add anything to it for us at the moment. And quite frankly, I'm getting a little bit fed up with having to deal with them. So let's turn fieldstone off. Then what we can do... So I'm going to do a second round now around the outside edge of the field. And we've got the fieldstone turned off, which means that we won't actually be able to pick up, I don't think, the fieldstone that is already out. Although I'm not sure about that. We may have to turn stone back on in order to be able to go and pick that little bit up around the outside edge. We'll find that one out in a minute. But I'm going to do a second time around the outside here, like this. And that's going to give us a nice... wide line. I'm actually do 3 times around. Give us a nice wide line all the way around. Then we can start using the GPS to cut in the straighter lines all the way around. And I'm hoping that that will then give us a nice well-covered field. We'll have every single little bit of it all ploughed up and looking grand, and we will be able to start our arable work. So we're going to need to plant stuff here. Now, I don't actually know what I want to plant to start with. I'm thinking it will go with a classic. Now, the main classic is obviously wheat. Wheat is grown in vast quantities all around the world, and everybody goes for wheat. Personally, though, I always prefer growing barley, for 2 reasons. One, everybody does wheat. Barley is kind of a little bit left out. But 2, barley is very, very important for a drink that I rather enjoy from time to time. Admittedly, I haven't had any for a little while, but barley is rather important in the manufacturing of beer, and I enjoy drinking beer. I rather like the stuff. Also, in the process of making beer, barley has to be malted. Now, I don't know if all of you are familiar with the process of malting. I'll explain that in a moment. But what you get as a byproduct of malting is you get this stuff called malt extract. And you can go and buy malt extract in small jars from health food shops. I think you can also get it in a supermarket in like the vitamins section, although I'm not sure about that. Malt extract has got a completely unique flavour to it. Some people like it, some people don't. It's sweet, and I guess I don't know. It was slightly nutty taste, maybe. I'm not sure, but I love malt extract. I absolutely love malt extract, and I've just realised I haven't had any for quite a while, and I feel like I've let myself down, and I've let everybody down because I haven't had malt extract in quite a while. If you've never tried malt extract, find some. Look online, order it, go to a health food shop, just do whatever it takes to find some malt extract and try it. It's so, so good. And it's one of those things, if you've never tried it, you'll never know. the first time I ever tasted it, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was divine. One of my children absolutely loves it. The other one hates it. My wife doesn't like it at all, so Sen, she's not interested. She doesn't like malt extract at all. She thinks it's foul. And so I've got one child that really loves it, and the other one doesn't like it at all. So it's very much kind of, you will love it or you will hate it. For those of you who hate it, I'm really sorry that I had to put you through that, but you know, now at least you know. For those of you who love it, for those of you who go out and you try it and you love it, you're welcome. It's life-changing. Knowing that that stuff is out there, it's absolutely divinely delicious. It's just the most incredible food you will ever find. It's, oh, I really want some. And it's good for you as well. It's why you can find it in health food shops. So a spoonful a day is good for you. I don't know what it's supposed to be good for you for. I've no idea why. All I know is that it tastes absolutely scrumdiddlyumptious, and I will eat the stuff whenever I can. So the way that the malting process works is that they take barley and they spread it out on a floor, and they water it. And the room that they put it in is really, really warm. And they water it. So just spray it lightly with water, and then they leave the barley go. The barley germinates. And I think they give it 2 days. It might be 3 days. It's something like that. Just long enough for the germination to take place and for a little tiny plant to just sort of coil out of the barley seed. And it doesn't come out much. There's not much coming out, but there's just a little tiny bit of a plant that comes on out, and that's the germination process, and that's malting the barley. I don't remember all of the process. I had a guided tour of a brewery once back when I was at university. It was for part of to do with our university course. So we had this guided tour, and they explained all the ins and outs and showed us all the workings and everything. It was absolutely fantastic. It was really cool. And once they've done that, they then scoop it all up, and they tip all of this barley into a machine. It gets rattled around and so on, and it gets dried out at that point. After it's germinated, it does get dried out, and the little bits of grain, the little bits of plant that were on it, they all end up getting knocked off, and they get gathered up, and they get used for animal feed. It's called maltings. And a place that I used to work, we used to feed our cattle maltings. And they loved the stuff. They absolutely loved it. So then the remaining barley is used to flavour the water that is then hops are added, and then they use it for making beer. And I don't remember any of the rest of the process. Just remember that the barley is sprouted, and this is the process called malting. And so malt beer is done through malting barley. Right. I'm looking for Alt-C, and then I want to do Control-S to bring this one up. And I'm pretty sure I have a track. No, I don't have a track saved. I thought I had a track saved. Where's my saved track? I had one, didn't I? Ugh. Talk about disappointed. I genuinely thought I had a track saved here somewhere. So why have I not got one saved? Right, well, what we'll have to do is we'll have to do a new one. So if I go set A right there, and then we'll move on forward a little bit. You've got to move on forward far enough. That's probably enough there. Go back in here and I'll go set B. There. Right. That's now worked. So then if I go here, I will plough. I'm just going to call this plough, because this is the plough we got. Okay. It would help if I had my fingers in the right place on the keyboard. There we go. See, everything works when you focus. And we will save track to farm. Ah, no, I don't want to do that. Right, okay, so then if I go plus, there. I've now got plough saved. Right. Then I want to go back over here, and I'm going to need to set an auto width. that's about right, because it's 6 meters wide that we've got on our machine. I don't want to change anything else on here, I don't think. We don't need that. We've got snap terrain, and I got pretty much everything that I want right there. So if I go on a little bit further, that's going to be fine as well. So then if I just do that, and I now have my GPS all set up and ready and raring to go. So if I lift you out of the ground like that, we'll spin on round, super tight like that. Probably not the best way to treat your machine. And then I'll do that. And now we are using the GPS. So yeah, I really like barley. Because barley is where you get your malt extract from, and also because whenever I think of barley, I always remember this trip to this brewery, and it just looked like a really, it was a really good day out. That was really good fun going and having a look around that place. And yes, we were at uni, so we did get to have some free samples of beer, which was really good because that particular brewery made really nice beer as well, which was cool. Although we had to go to a completely different area for the beer because they didn't actually brew the beer in the place where we were going. So they just had some samples that we were able to try, and it was a really nice one. But the actual place that we went to visit wasn't a brewery. It was a maltings, something like that. That's what they did. They malted the barley. That's what they did for their business. They malted the barley, and then they sent it off to a brewery to be turned into the beer. It just so happened that they were associated with only one brewery, so that's why we were having these samples of the beer associated with that brewery. But this malting company had been there for a really, really long time, providing maltings for or malted whatever for making beer for absolutely ages. Now, I've probably got some parts of this process wrong because it was more than 20 years ago that I went to this place, and I've never sort of looked into how the process works since then, so please keep in mind that I could very well have gotten parts of that process wrong. If I have, obviously, as usual, get straight into the comment section and tell me where I've gone wrong, because I do not like giving you inaccurate information. So if I have described any part of that process wrong, then please tell me. Anybody that does actually know, I think I have remembered it accurately. I do at least know that the barley is part of the process. So at least I got that bit right. Okay, the barley is part of the process. That bit, no one can deny. I've got that right. Someone's going to tell me that I've got that bit wrong. The barley is generally used for that. If you're having wheat beer, then you use wheat for the malting. But I believe barley is used because it has a higher sugar content, and it's better for it, so it ends up creating a better beer, I think. Now, I don't, but that's guesswork. That is guesswork. That's not based on fact. I'm guessing on that one. So that could be completely wrong. But I think it's something to do with sugar content, and that's why barley is traditionally used, because it's a better grain for making the beer. But anyway, I want to grow barley in here first. So long story short, that is my reasoning for wanting to grow barley in here first, because barley is used to make beer. And I feel that is as good a reason as any. There are all kinds of reasons for wanting to do things, and I feel that all of them are valid. It's just this is my particular reason on this particular day. That's what we're going to go with. Now, I'm not going to do this entire field in one sitting, because that is just going to get really tedious, but I am going to do a fair slice of it. So we are currently at 20 past 11 in June. We're not going to get this field, like, there's no crops that we can plant now anyway that will be planted in time to have a harvest this year. So whatever we do, it's going to be for next year rather than this year. Let's just join that one in, and then we can drop that one into the ground. But we will be able to go and plant our barley soon. I think it's September that we plant our barley. So as long as we get the field done before September, we will be ready to actually start doing planting. And we're going to need a reasonable size planter. I would like to buy as much of the equipment as we can now, because we're now pushing out with the arable side of our enterprise. I've got some industrial construction work that I'm going to want to do soon, and we have got a little bit of a slice there that we have missed that we will go and pick up. I did wonder if I was going to have that because it wasn't quite lined up straight when I went back through on the last round. Just bring you up. And one round like that. Go up a little bit, and then there we go. Right. Drop that in there. And back we go again. Just coffeeing up. I'm coffeed up again now. We can keep going. I do love this machine. I'm really liking the Xerion at the moment. This is a nice versatile tractor. I like the steering that it's got on it, and I'm not adverse to having a tractor that is ridiculously powerful like this one either. It does certainly make some jobs a lot easier. Let's bring you on round this way. And there. There we go. And bring you on back again. I'm loving the view from here as well. Like, we bring this one in. I think this is going to be our screenshot right about here. So just a moment. Yeah, stick a little silence in so that I can easily identify where I want to take a screenshot from. Look at that view that we've got out across there. We've got this magnificent, untouched valley, all of these trees, just nature completely untouched by man. And then there's us, completely obliterating a very large slice of it to turn it into industrial agriculture, so that we can grow barley in order to get hammered. Well, okay, we're not growing barley to get hammered. We're growing barley to make malt extract, but yeah, same difference really. It doesn't really matter. We're still destroying the pristine, untouched section of wilderness right here, and turning it not only into industrial farmland here, like very large-scale farmland. We're also in the process of bringing people in, building houses, building proper industrial outlets up that side as well. And yeah, and that's what it was like before Frithgar got here. Look at those hills, completely untouched by man. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. Have I no shame? Look at this tractor. Nope. Not even a little bit. There is no shame. Look at me in there with my marigolds, my wellies, my chainsaw helmet. Oh yeah. That is a man who experiences no shame whatsoever. Just bring that one on down there a little bit. There. Look, see, we've got the mustache. We've got the shades. I am sitting there with pride, with absolute pride. No shame. I probably should feel a little bit ashamed at what I'm doing to this beautiful, wonderful valley here, but yeah, well, I don't. Maybe one day I will speak to a therapist about this moment. This moment of clarification. That was the moment that I realized that I truly am a monster, an absolute beast, hidden amongst men. What do I do? Well, I don't know. This is a question I have asked the darkness many times, and the darkness has never really responded apart from giving me a dark chuckle. So, the darkness and I are intimately acquainted, and the darkness has never been overly helpful with getting me to work through my problems. It just tends to laugh at me and says, "You're mine." And some of you will actually understand that. I know I talk about it from time to time. Some of you do like to hear about it, some of you don't. I have depression. I have spent my whole life dealing with depression. I wasn't even fully aware of what I had until more recent years. And the reason I talk about it openly, I never made any secret of this fact, is because I never talked about feelings. I never talked about what was going on in my head, and it reached a point where it almost was the end of me. And I don't want that to happen to anyone. Anyone who's listening, don't keep it bottled up. Talk to someone. Find someone somewhere to talk to. If you've got some stuff going on in your head, talk to people, because it helps. It really does. It will help. It will make a difference. I cannot stress that enough. Do not keep it all bottled up. If you're English like me, give us a shout in the comments section if you're from England. The whole British stiff upper lip, don't talk about feelings, you know, because that's just not cricket, don't you know? It's nonsense. It's absolute rubbish. It is complete and total rubbish, and it is something that we need to get past as a country. And I know there's so many other countries around the world where this also happens. People don't talk about feelings, and men in particular. It seems to be for some reason people seem to think that we should be ashamed of experiencing emotions. Now, men are allowed to be angry, and we're allowed to be happy and laugh. Those are emotions as well, folks. I'm gonna lay this out on the line for you. I know this is going to come as a shock to some of you, but happiness and anger are also emotions. But for some reason, we're allowed to have those, but we're not allowed to feel sad. We're not allowed to feel down. We're not allowed to be tearful in any way whatsoever, and that is absolute rubbish. It is. It's, forgive my language, it is crap. It is absolute rubbish. Sadness is a huge part of your life as well, and if you keep that bottled up, if you do not talk about it, it will come back and it will end up hurting you. Now, not everybody has depression. I've explained what depression is, the basic outline of it before. It is different for everybody. Everybody's journey with it is different. Mine, I mostly sort of self-treat it. I don't need to have medication for it. I know plenty of people who do use medication for it, and anyone who tells you, oh, you don't need medication, you just need to go for a walk in the forest, tell them to just... Okay, I can't really answer that politely and also convey my full depth of feeling. Tell them to go away. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Alright? The medication works for some people. Medication doesn't really work for other people. There are 1,000 different ways of dealing with it. You need to find the one that works for you. If that means taking a load of tablets in order that you can function, in order to get your brain working properly, in order that you can live with people, do it. And do it with pride. It's not... I do not understand this thing where even other folk with depression seem to look down on those who take tablets. What is wrong with you? What is wrong? What is wrong? No. Just no. How can you experience depression? How can you actually experience that black, open, swirling pit of absolute despair and then condemn someone else for the way that they try to save themselves from it? No way. No thank you. I've taken tablets. I took them for quite a while in order to try to balance myself out, and then I decided I didn't want to take tablets and I do it other ways. It's much more difficult sometimes doing it other ways than it is relying on the tablets. There's all kinds of different tablets you can take. Don't well, you can't just go and get them. It's not an off-the-shelf thing. You do need to speak to a doctor first. And you do. That's the first thing that you need to do. If you think that you have any mental health problems, speaking to someone is the first step towards being able to deal with it. And do it. Please. Please, for the love of everything important in your life, do it. Go and speak to someone. Get some help. At least to start you off on your journey of dealing with this issue. If you've already done that step, if you're already dealing with it now, there's always going to be dark days. I say that I don't answer messages, but my inbox is always open. I always have an inbox there. It's always open, and people do talk to me. They do message me occasionally, say, I'm struggling with this. I can't offer a lot of advice because everybody is different. Everyone deals with things differently, but I can draw from some of my own experiences, and I can try and help you if I can. And it's really important that we help each other. If you feel you can help someone who's struggling, help them. Even if it's nothing more than just to listen to them while they unload. Got all these problems, all these things swirling around in their head. Just listen to them. Spend a half an hour with them. It makes a difference. Those of you who don't have this issue, someone says, I'm really struggling at the moment, you don't need to do anything. Don't try to fix them. Right? There's nothing worse for me than if I say to someone I'm really struggling at the moment, they then try and fix me. I can't be fixed. It's not fixable. The only thing that you can do is listen. You just shut up and listen. That's all you got to do. Just shut up and listen. And then, you know, crack a few jokes. Spend an hour, spend a couple of hours just listening to your friend, listen to them talk, and crack a few jokes with them. Do not try to fix them. And it's always said with the best of intentions, and I'm saying this to anybody that has someone in their life that struggles with these things, you're not quite sure how you should approach this. It's always said with the best of intentions. It could be worse. At least you don't have this. At least it's not like that. You've got to be strong for someone else. You've got to be strong for this. You've got to be strong for that. Even though that is said with the best of intentions, and it's said as a way to, you know, try to pick you up, for someone that is being buried under these depressed thoughts, that doesn't help. It really, really does not help. Because all that ends up doing is when we're in that pit of despair, the only way that I could describe it is basically just imagine a pit that is just sort of filled with quicksand and is dragging you down. Right? It's just dragging you down and down and down and down, and there's no way that you can see that you will ever be able to get out of that pit. It's just sucking you in, and you can't escape it. That's what it's like all the time. That's basically what you're going through. You can't pull someone out of that just with a few quick words. And all that you're going to do is... Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.